Thank you so much for joining us today, Eve. It's really lovely to have you here to share about your changed life as a Christian. For those of us who don't know you, maybe could you introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us a bit about yourself. That'd be great.
Hi, I'm Eve. I'm from Stirling. I'm actually from a small village called Bannockburn, and growing up there wasn't any. I didn't have any like close friends who were Christian, but my mum was big support to me. My mum is is Christian. My dad he isn't. But yeah, my family I wouldn't say are very Christian at all. Um, and yeah, I didn't have anyone close to me that was a major positive influence, I guess.
Okay, Eve, did
So,
you growing up in Stirling? Did you go to church as a child?
so I remember going to church maybe once or twice a month. Um, I didn't really have a relationship with God at all. I just went because like it was the right thing to do, and I remember just really being distant from God
Mm.
as a child.
Yeah. Did you enjoy church? What was it like when
Um,
you're young?
so it was I went to church more for my family,
Mm.
and because some of my extended family went to church, and but we just went and we didn't really enjoy
Mm.
going. It
Okay.
wasn't something that was like fun for us.
No.
We just kind of like were dragged there occasionally,
Okay.
and yeah,
That's probably quite a common story, to be honest.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what about when you were in like high school? Did you keep going every few weeks or months, or did you stop going?
So I stopped going to church when I was 9 or 10 years
Okay.
old.
Right.
So when I was 9 years old, that's when I first became ill, and I was really sick for 5 years in total. So I was cured when I was 14, and I'm so thankful that I was cured, and I'm thankful to God. However, I didn't see that as time at all. I quickly in my illness, I quickly turned away from God. Like when I was 9 or 10, I completely fell away from everything Jesus teaches as well, and I stopped going to church. I was really lost, and then when I was 14 and cured, that's honestly, I really did struggle.
Mm-hmm.
And I struggled in my teenagers and all throughout high school basically because I was so lost. I had a lot of feelings of hopelessness and unworthiness,
Mm-hmm.
and I was honestly really sad
Yeah.
and everything.
Mm.
So I didn't go to church at all like when I was a teenager.
Yeah. And I guess having like serious health problems as well as like not really knowing the Lord or knowing God and his all that
Yeah.
he is, that must have been very difficult for you. And so once you had got better, and you find, like you said, you found school difficult, did you then go to university? What happened after that?
Yeah, so when I was 17, I decided though to come to university to do occupational therapy. I thought that by coming to university and doing a degree, which I did love the work that occupational therapists do, and that I thought that by coming, everything would be fixed, and I wouldn't have these feelings of hopelessness and unworthiness and that. And it honestly, it didn't. I was still really lost, and in my first year of uni, I really did struggle with things.
Mm.
I really thought about dropping out at the end of my first year of uni. I didn't see the value of me feeling that unworthy compared to others, and not as good as others. So I was considering dropping out.
And so that was quite, you must have got to like a really difficult place to be considering dropping out of uni altogether. So what happened then in your first year that made you
So
stop?
I at the end of my first year, I started to think about hope a lot, because this was something I didn't have at all, and I I thought about where I could find this from, and I was really searching for answers and things, and um I I kept seeing like things like resting in the presence of the Lord, and trusting in him and things like that. And I was a bit like curious about that.
Where did you see those,
I
Eve?
I
Did you see
I, I just
pictures?
like seen pictures, and
Okay.
I seen when I was researching about where I could find hope and
Yeah.
things, like
Oh, like online, sorry.
people,
Yeah.
yeah, online, sorry, yeah, people. I was seeing a lot of things that were talking about, like placing your hope in God, and like knowing that He's bigger. And yeah, so I was really curious about where I could find hope, and if that could be in the Lord. And so I looked more into faith and belief systems, and God and everything. But Christianity was the only religion that and belief system that I could see that would offer me that hope that made sense, because I felt that in others, other religions as and things, you have to work to prove your worth, really. And that was what I was struggling with in particular. And I really came to trust that he loved me, like, no matter what, because I did feel that there was more to this world than just like my feelings of despair, really, and
Yeah.
like unworthiness. So
Wonderful.
trusting him in him was the big change of my life.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So, Eve, what was it that you had read or heard? So how did that process happen? So, you didn't just kind of wake up one day and sort of put your faith in Jesus. What was it that you did to discover this truth about Jesus?
Yeah, so I feel like when I did start to look to think about hope and things like that, I looked at the Bible, and I just was reading that, and things there were making sense to me, helping me to see that he is like available to anyone. And I felt that it was really speaking to me. I spoke to a couple of people that I knew through the university who were Christians, and I felt like they had something that I didn't. And so I listened to what they had to say. And one of my friends did invite me along to like church, and it was actually this church. And I had been obviously to church like before in the past, but I hadn't really um like I hadn't had that like relationship with God. And I felt something different about this church. So yeah, I started to look more into faith, and look at it online, and look at it through the Bible, and through speaking to others. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, how, I mean, I don't know if like you can't base it all on your feelings, but like, what was it like to know that not just God loved you, but that God had died for you so that you could be forgiven? When you discovered that, was it kind of a process of like sort of learning and trusting in that, or how did you come to that sort of realization and trust that yeah, God loved you, but also had died for you. And was there?
So I would say that it was more like a process.
Mm,
I don't really think, I don't think there was like a specific time that I
mm,
came to faith.
yeah,
I think it was over like, cause I did feel so like lost and so down about life and things. I think it was over time, like I kept looking at the word and listening to what other people had to say and things, and I felt like it was kind of like built up over time,
wonderful.
and yeah, which is amazing because I feel like it was such a, I was feeling like so because I was feeling so like lost and that, it was like a big thing to like come back from that. So
Yeah,
like it was kind of like a long process,
yeah,
but yeah, I'm so glad that I did.
that's wonderful. And Eve, what difference does it make knowing Jesus today? Because I understand that you've got some ongoing health issues that you cope with, I think, very well. And what difference does it make when
Yeah.
you're thinking about your health and the future?
So so I think that since coming to faith and that it's really helped change my outlook on life. It's really helped to change all my values and perspectives on life. And I think just by knowing that I am like loved and accepted, that really helps me to see that I'm like worthy and I'm worth, it is like worth me while me being here and that, and yeah, I feel like the hope that Christ brings and that, it really helps me to know that there is like God does have a plan for my
Mm,
life, and he is like always there for to help like
mm,
protect me and guide me through life and that. I feel that it's great because I can put like my trust in God, and really trust that he knows what he's doing, and he's got it all under control. I feel like uh, I don't have to be in control myself, obviously, and that God does know what He is doing, and I find that a great comfort to me.
mm,
I feel like it's also helpful to have like other Christians about because they're encouraging, and they're encouraging throughout every like aspect and situation
yeah,
of your life, and
wonderful.
that you go through it, and knowing that other people are supporting you and pointing you towards God, who is a loving God, is really helpful as well. Yeah, so I'm so thankful to for everything.
That's amazing,
Yeah.
Eve. It's so great to hear. And, for some people listening, they might be feeling a little bit like you used to feel before you came to know the Lord and feeling a bit hopeless and maybe feeling a little bit like what's the point of their life or what's the value of their
Mm,
life, and how might you how might you encourage them, or how would you want to encourage them to?
yeah. So turning to God completely changed my life and completely changed my life for the better. It helped to open my eyes to God's love and how He cares for us all, and it helped me to see the value of me, and helped me to see the value of like life and things.
Mm,
I think to anyone who's like struggling and things in their life, just like looking for acceptance and that. I think knowing God's acceptance and knowing His grace, and especially if they're going through um things that are way beyond their control and really hard to deal with, it's amazing knowing that there is like a God up there who is bigger than all your problems and your and what you have to deal with and things. It's amazing knowing that you can like put your trust in Him and really he is your stronghold in that, and he is your rock and things, and just really knowing that he is there for you, he can handle all things, and
Yeah, that's
so
so wonderful. No, that's really wonderful to hear, Eve. And yeah, I think you are a great example to so many of us of like just looking to the Lord and trusting in Him, whatever's going on in your life, that we know He's good and He loves you. And yeah, that's really
absolutely.
wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing so openly and honestly. Really, really helpful and encouraging to hear. So yeah, thanks, Eve.